To begin filing returns, log in your iTax portal, select the Return tab menu. Under the Returns tab menu, choose File Returns, which is the first option. Okay, before we get further to filing returns, I want to quickly discuss the other remaining options. We have the File Amended Return options, and we have the File Nil Returns. For those student teachers without a salary, you have really nothing much to do rather than file nil returns, which is rather faster in 2 simple steps, which I have discussed in our videos. You can access them in the history. In case you filed returns and realize you made some errors, you can still come back to this Return tab and choose File Amended Returns. This option gives you the chance to make the necessary changes to your earlier failed returns with some errors. Okay, back to filing returns for TSC teachers. After selecting the File Returns option, the e-return menu opens up with 3 rows. First row being type, followed by taxpayer PIN and tax obligation. The first and the second will be automatically filled for you. That is the type, which will be original, and the tax PIN, which is your tax PIN. On the tax obligation, select the drop-down menu as shown and select income tax resident individual, after which you're going to select next. Income tax resident individual form opens up. Scroll down and click here to download income tax resident individual form, which is normally an Excel form. Your form should be able to download in a few minutes, after which you can be able to open it. It's this form which should be filled appropriately using the P9 form and then submitted or uploaded to the iTax portal, and that will mark the end of filing returns. Sometimes, but not always, when you open up the Excel form, you will be prompted, you will get some error message which will ask you to enable all macros. How do you do this? I have created some videos on the same, how to enable macros after downloading your Excel sheet and displays an error of the same. Now, after enabling macros on your iTax form, your Excel form should look like this one. Here you want to begin filling the Excel sheet. The first step is to enter your appropriate KRA PIN. Next, select original from the drop-down, and in case it is an amended form, this is where you are going to select amended rather than original. Remember, we discussed the difference between an amended and an original form. Tax period is normally the beginning of the previous year, in this case to the end of the year, that is 1st January 2020 to 31st December 2020. Remember, when you're filing returns, you file returns for the previous year. The next steps, if you have no other income, no mortgage, no life insurance policy, leave the rest of the options as they are, that is on with no, and scroll down and select as shown. On the next page, after scrolling down and selecting next, on this next page, this is where the P9 form comes in. Remember, on your P9 form, we have the PIN of the employer, the name of the employer, your gross pay, which is equal to the total taxable pay, and which is recorded at the bottom of the P9 form in subtotals. on this P9 form. These details are required to fill on this page that you have just opened up. We have created a video on how to understand your P9 form better in this channel. Make sure you check out that video if you want to understand your P9 form in depth. Now, in this 2020 returns, it's very important to note that this filing returns in 2020 is different from the previous years due to Corona, and therefore the government increased a tax relief, and therefore these changes have been captured in our Excel sheet, and we shall be discussing that as we progress in this tutorial. Now on this page, enter the PIN of the employer as shown on the P9 form, the name of the employer, the gross pay which is equal to the taxable pay on the P9 form at the bottom recorded as the subtotal. Fill these details as reflected on the P9 form as guided on this tutorial. Next, add the taxable income, which is also the gross income for January to March, and to be filled in the section as shown below. The pension is 00. Add the taxable income or gross income for April to December and fill in the options below. The pension still remains 0. And these are the new changes that were introduced, which I noted while filling my returns. And when you do not fill these options, at the end of this form you will get an error message, and therefore it's very important to fill this section. Now on this last page, there is something very important that I need to take you through. At the bottom, the tax due should be 00 or reasonable negative balance, which simply means that government of Kenya owes you or you paid taxes in excess. And how do you go about getting a refund of this excess tax? Like I've said, remember, it should either be a balance of 0 owed to you by the government. If it's a positive value, it means you owe the government some taxes, and this should not be the case. And if you're likely to get such values, please seek assistance to correct that return. Now, how do you go about applying for a refund of excess taxes? You will click on validation. When you click on validation the returns, you will get an error message that will tell you to enter your account details, and I'm going to quickly show you how to enter these details. And after entering these details, you go back to validate your returns. If everything is okay, you should be able to get this message that says your sheets is ready to upload Do you want to generate an upload file? You choose yes, and the upload file will be generated. It is this upload file that is generated that you are going to go back to your iTax portal, log in, follow the same steps of filing returns rather than downloading an Excel sheet. Now here we are going to upload the Excel sheet that we have already created, bearing in mind that we know the location where this file is, as I'm going to show you shortly. Upload your file, and that is that. Your returns are filed and you are able to print your receipt, and that marks the end of our tutorial. Thank you for staying tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and share this video if you find it useful. Thank you.